Let's see who picks. We're gonna have to do a lot better, winner.
I think we have the situation under control.
Last night is Marquis.
Traffic update. I'm hearing your way. My listeners.
Wasn't that with you? Burn! Now you listen to me.
40.
Responsible for the death of a Kelkoji? You did, John.
It saddens me.
this hotel has been deconsecrated.
Get out.
You armed?
Middle.
Stay. Don't insult my. できるだけ多く殺してってくれ。
For all. Get over with.
오픈 계약. John Wick verteidigte Einstieg. John Wick.
This is quite the mess. Not enough. Because we're in.
I can hit you.
You hit my puppy.
Моя кровь. Моя жизнь. Моя жизнь. Мой Джордани.
Not really.
Are you ready, Mr. Commendo Deo Animus Pulvis. Fire!
You are quinces.
Hey guys, today we're diving headfirst into the glorious mayhem that is John Wick Chapter 4. Strap in, because this one's a wild ride with more headshots than a particularly aggressive game of whack-a-mole. We kick things off with our favorite dog-loving assassin, John Wick, doing what he does best, punching things. Specifically, a very sturdy wooden post in the middle of a sun-baked desert. Our boy is back, looking a bit worse for wear, but clearly not down for the count. He's got a score to settle, and you can practically hear the bones creaking from here. Before you head off, if you're enjoying the kind of content I make, please consider liking and subscribing. No pressure, but it truly helps me keep the action coming. John, ever the gentleman, is in the market for a little chat with the elder. You know, the guy who's apparently even higher up the super secret assassin food chain than the high table itself. John makes his way through the desert to find this wise old sage who, let's be honest, looks like he's just woken up from a very long nap. Our man Wick lays it all out, demanding his freedom, but the elder, being a creature of the high table, is having none of it. He reminds John of his past transgressions, particularly that whole killing an elder thing from way back when. The conversation is less friendly reunion and more existential threat assessment. John, being John, isn't taking no for an answer, especially when it comes to his eternal struggle for peace. The air is thick with tension, not unlike my last family dinner. The elder's words echo with a chilling finality, hinting at a fate John desperately wants to escape. And because talking just isn't John's primary love language, he quickly decides that negotiation is a fancy word for impaling with a sword. So, without much ado, the elder finds himself in a rather unfortunate predicament, specifically without a head. It's a shocking, visceral moment, reminding us that John Wick isn't just a man seeking peace. He's a force of nature. The metallic clang of the blade, the swift, decisive movement. It's all over before you can even say high table infraction. This act, ladies and gentlemen, effectively tells the entire shadowy underworld, I'm still here. And I'm still very much not playing by your rules. The silence that follows is deafening, punctuated only by the subtle rustle of John retrieving his weapon, leaving a very clear message for anyone else considering getting in his way. No wonder his reputation precedes him. Enter stage left, the Marquis Vincent Boni de Gramont, a man who clearly believes subtlety is a brand of cheese. This new, ridiculously named, and utterly unlikable high-table bigwig has one mission: squash John Wick, and anyone who's ever given him a spare bullet. His first order of business? Demolishing the New York Continental, a sacred safe haven that's been standing longer than most historical monuments. He struts around like he owns the world, which, let's be real, he kinda does. The scene establishes him as a truly formidable, almost cartoonishly evil antagonist. His cold, calculating voice cuts through the air, delivering commands with an air of absolute finality. It's not just a building being destroyed, it's a symbol. And the sound of those wrecking balls tearing into concrete? Ooh, that's a gut punch for sure. It's clear this guy means business, and he's got the budget to back it up. The Marquis isn't just about structural demolition. He's a fan of personal destruction too. He turns his attention to Winston, the esteemed manager of the New York Continental, for daring to aid John Wick, and as a lesson, he executes Karen, the ever-suave and undeniably loyal concierge, right in front of Winston. It's a brutal, senseless act, a cold, sharp bang of a silenced pistol that echoes in the sudden quiet, tearing a hole not just in Winston's heart, but in ours too. Karen was a fan favorite. The betrayal, the helplessness in Winston's eyes, it's a truly gut-wrenching moment. The clatter of Karen's glasses hitting the marble floor feels heavier than a lead weight. This sequence cements Gramont as a truly loathsome villain, someone who will stop at nothing to assert high-table dominance, even if it means sacrificing beloved characters. It's a bold move, narratively speaking, showing us the true stakes of John's fight. Winston's grief is palpable, a silent scream of despair, with Karen gone and the Continental in ruins. Winston is stripped of his management and declared an outcast by the high table, but Winston, being Winston, is more cunning than a fox who just aced a Mensa test. He sees an opening, a loophole in the high table's ancient laws, a duel, a fight to the death, where if John Wick wins, Winston gets his hotel back, and John gets his freedom. Gramont, blinded by arrogance and a truly questionable fashion sense, agrees. He underestimates the bond between Winston and John, and gravely miscalculates the depth of Winston's strategic mind. The exchange is sharp, clipped, like the chess master's moving pieces in a deadly game. The sound of Gramont's dismissive laughter is almost as grating as his sheer audacity. Winston's quiet resolve, however, speaks volumes. You just know he's already 5 steps ahead, planning a comeback that would make a phoenix blush. Meanwhile, John Wick, ever the globetrotter, heads to Osaka, Japan. He finds temporary refuge at the Osaka Continental, managed by his old buddy, Shimazu Koji. The warmth of their reunion is a rare moment of genuine affection in John's otherwise brutal existence. Koji, with his stern but kind demeanor, offers John sanctuary, fully aware of the dire consequences. We also meet Akira, Koji's fiercely independent and incredibly skilled daughter, who definitely doesn't trust John as far as she can throw him, which, judging by her combat skills, is probably pretty far. The vibrant, traditional Japanese architecture of the hotel stands in stark contrast to the shadowy world of assassins, offering a fleeting sense of peace before the storm. The hushed, respectful greetings are a brief calm before the absolute tempest that's about to engulf them. The gentle murmur of the water garden is practically begging for a peaceful resolution, but we know better, of course. Peace is a 4-letter word in John Wick's vocabulary that usually lasts about 5 minutes. The high table through the Marquis wastes no time descending upon the Osaka Continental. Assassins, clad in sleek black gear, rappel down the sides of the building like very angry, very well-funded spiders. The sudden thwack of grappling hooks hitting the roof, the shattering glass as they breach the windows, it's an immediate, jarring shift from tranquil beauty to absolute chaos. The high table's relentless pursuit of John means no one is safe, no sanctuary is truly secure. Koji and Akira, despite their formidable skills, find themselves severely outmatched by the sheer numbers. The sound of their footsteps, initially muted, quickly grows into a thunderous charge, signaling the end of any quiet contemplation for our heroes. This ain't no spar treat, folks, and just like that, it's go time. John and Koji, a dynamic duo of seasoned killers, spring into action. John, ever adaptable, grabs a katana and starts slicing and dicing with surprising elegance, while Koji wields his own samurai sword with the grace of a deadly dancer. The clanging of steel against steel, the whoosh of blades cutting through the air, the guttural cries of defeated assassins, it's a symphony of destruction. They weave through the stunning architecture of the hotel, using every pillar, every display, every delicate Japanese screen as part of their deadly choreography. It's a beautiful, brutal ballet of death, proving that sometimes, two grizzled veterans are better than a small army. They move with such synchronized precision, it's almost like they've rehearsed this exact scenario for decades. Almost, while the menfolk are busy with their swordplay. Akira provides crucial long-range support, raining down arrows with astonishing accuracy. She's not just some pretty face with a bow, she's an absolute terror, picking off enemies from above with deadly precision. Each whip of her bowstring, each arrow finding its mark with a sickening thud, is a testament to her skill and ferocity. She moves with the agility of a jungle cat, leaping and swinging, making sure that no high-table goon gets an easy shot at her father or John. It's an exhilarating display of martial artistry, a vital component of the Osaka defense. Her determination is etched onto her face, a clear warning to anyone who thinks they can invade her home without consequences. Honestly, I'd hire her for my next LARP event. Just when you think things couldn't get more complicated. The Marquis brings out his secret weapon, Kane, a blind assassin. And another old friend of John's, Kane isn't here because he wants to be. He's here because the High Table is threatening his daughter. He navigates the battlefield with an eerie calm, his cane tapping out a rhythm that belies the deadly efficiency of his movements. He's a tragic figure, forced into this conflict, and you can almost feel the weight of his reluctance with every precise, deadly strike. His presence introduces a new layer of emotional complexity to the already brutal fight. The subtle clack of his cane is a sound of impending doom for his targets. He doesn't want to be there, but he's terrifyingly effective all the same. It's like watching a deadly ballet, but with more blood and less tutus. The inevitable clash happens, Koji versus Kane. It's a heartbreaking duel between two old friends, each fighting for reasons beyond their control. Koji, defending his hotel and his daughter, pushes Kane, but Kane's blind fighting style, a lethal symphony of calculated strikes and heightened senses, proves too much. The sheeting of their blades, the grunts of exertion, the silence as a final blow lands. It's a profound, tragic moment. Koji falls, a loyal friend lost to the unforgiving machinations of the High Table, his death. A quiet thud as he collapses fuels Akira's burning desire for vengeance, and undoubtedly solidifies John's resolve even further. The air feels heavy, thick with the scent of loss and the metallic tang of blood. It's a gut-wrenching moment that reminds us how high the stakes truly are in this world. Akira, witnessing her father's death, is consumed by grief and a searing thirst for revenge. John, ever the man of his word, quietly promises her retribution against Kane, cementing a pact forged in blood and loss. The raw emotion, the silent tears streaming down Akira's face, her hand gripping her father's lifeless one. It's a powerful, almost unbearable scene amidst the ongoing chaos. The quiet determination in John's voice as he makes his vow cuts through the lingering sounds of battle like a knife. This isn't just about John anymore. It's about protecting the innocent, honoring the fallen, and dismantling the system that caused so much pain. The unspoken understanding between them is a heavy burden, a shared commitment to a future filled with justified violence. You just know Kane is gonna have a bad day eventually. With Koji gone and the Osaka Continental in shambles, John Wick has no choice but to retreat. He fights his way out, every punch, every kick, every shot fired a desperate measure against the overwhelming numbers. The crunch of shattered glass underfoot, the groans of structural integrity failing, the distant shouts of pursuing assassins, it's a harrowing escape. He's a lone wolf in a collapsing den, battered but unbroken, carrying the weight of Koji's sacrifice and Akira's pain. It's a stark reminder that even John Wick, the Baba Yaga himself, can't win every battle, but he sure as heck isn't going to stop fighting. His labored breathing, the visible exhaustion, it all paints a picture of a man pushed to his absolute limits, yet still finding the strength to push back. He exits not with a bang, but a desperate, determined scramble. Next up, we're introduced to the tracker, a mysterious figure who, true to his name, is very good at tracking things. And people, specifically John Wick, he's a man of few words, preferring the company of his trusty canine companion, a Belgian Malinois who is definitely getting more screen time than some actors. This guy operates in the shadows, a silent observer with an agenda of his own, waiting for the perfect moment to strike, or perhaps to offer aid. His subtle movements, the way he blends into the environment, make him an intriguing presence. The soft woof of his dog, a brief break in the tension, hints at a hidden depth to this stoic character. He's the kind of guy who probably has a secret lair and a really expensive telescope, because why not? John's next destination on his global tour of vengeance is Berlin. He's got unfinished business there, specifically with the German high-table representative. Killer, the journey by train is a rare moment of quiet contemplation for John. The rhythmic clack-clack of the rails a stark contrast to the cacophony of his recent battles. He stares out at the passing European landscape, undoubtedly processing the losses and reaffirming his path. The weight of his decisions, the sacrifice of his friends, it all hangs heavy in the air, even in the stillness of the train car. It's a visual respite for us, the audience too, giving us a moment to breathe before we're plunged back into the glorious, blood-soaked action. But you just know that train is carrying a ticking time bomb to Berlin. Our man arrives in Berlin and, naturally, his target, Killer, is holding court in a massive, pulsating rave club. Because where else would a German high-table boss hang out? The bass thumps so hard you can practically feel it rattling your teeth, the strobe lights disorienting, creating a perfect chaotic playground for John Wick. Killer himself is a formidable presence, a physically imposing figure who clearly enjoys his hedonistic empire. He's perched on a throne like some kind of disco kingpin, surrounded by bodyguards, looking very pleased with himself. The sheer sensory overload of the club is a character in itself, making John's hunt even more challenging. The whoosh of the fog machines, the blinding flashes of light, it's a dizzying dance of death in the making. John, meanwhile, looks like he's just trying to find the nearest exit, and maybe a quiet place for a cup of tea. He's definitely too old for this club scene. It's not long before the party gets really started. John plunges into the throng of dancers, turning the rave into a battleground. Every punch cracks, every kick snaps, every body thuds to the ground amidst the pulsing music. The club's loud beats ironically provide a rhythmic backdrop to the brutal choreography. He uses the environment to his advantage, slamming heads into speakers, throwing bodies over railings. It's a relentless, visceral sequence, a testament to John's unwavering focus even in the most disorienting of environments. The shouts of confused club-goers mix with the painful grunts of his targets, creating a cacophony of chaos. He moves like a shark through a school of fish, utterly lethal and utterly unstoppable, even when someone probably spills a drink on him. The nerve. Honestly, who cleans up after these guys? The fight spills into the club's grittier, industrial lower levels, where John ups his game, swapping fancy hand-to-hand for some good old-fashioned gun-fu. The rat-a-tat-tat of automatic gunfire echoes off the concrete walls, mixing with the distant thump of the club music above. He's facing increasingly well-armed and numerous opponents, but John Wick, as we know, thrives under pressure. He demonstrates his mastery of tactical reloading, precision headshots, and brutal close-quarters gunplay. The sheer force of the shotgun blasts reverberates, momentarily silencing the shouts of his foes. Every bullet fired, every empty casing clattering to the floor, tells a story of survival and relentless pursuit. He's not just fighting, he's demonstrating a highly advanced curriculum in how to efficiently eliminate an entire criminal enterprise. It's a masterclass in controlled mayhem. Finally, John reaches Killer himself for a truly grueling showdown. Killer, a big man, is a surprisingly agile and incredibly resilient opponent, making this fight a true test of John's endurance. The oomph of every body blow, the crack of bones, the ragged breaths of both fighters, it's a visceral, exhausting struggle. John is thrown, pummeled, and pushed to his physical limits, but his resolve never wavers. He uses every trick in his book, every ounce of his strength, to overcome Killer's brute force. This isn't a graceful dance. It's a desperate street brawl, a raw, primal clash of wills. The sheer tenacity required to take down such a formidable foe is astounding, and you can practically feel John's muscles screaming. After a truly brutal back and forth, John finally gains the upper hand. He rips out one of Killa's gold teeth, a grim token of his victory, needed for his reinstatement into his crime family. The final thud of Killa hitting the ground is incredibly satisfying. With Killa's golden tooth in hand, John meets up with the one and only Bowery King, our favorite information broker and purveyor of fine firearms. The Bowery King, ever the entrepreneur, is now a legitimate source for weapons and supplies, having clearly upgraded his operations from pigeon post to something more substantial. John presents the tooth, a macabre receipt for his services, and secures the Bowery King's aid for his looming duel against Gramont. The Bowery King's usual theatrical flair is on full display, his voice a gravelly whisper, then a booming declaration, as he dispenses advice and promises backing. The clink of the tooth as it hits the table seals the deal, a grim exchange for a potentially fatal encounter. It's a moment of strategic alliance, a reminder that John still has powerful friends in this complicated underworld, even if they sometimes communicate via avian postal service. Seriously, pigeons in this day and age? Winston then meets John, laying out the full, rather complex, terms of the duel with Gramont. It's not just a fight, it's a meticulously ritualized event with ancient rules, observers, and even designated weapons. Winston, with his usual calm but authoritative voice, explains the intricate web of high table traditions. John, ever the pragmatist, understands the gravity of the situation. This is his one shot at true freedom, his chance to finally break free from the high table's suffocating grasp, even if it means risking everything. The hushed tones, the intense eye contact between them, underscore the life or death implications of this agreement. Every word from Winston is carefully chosen, outlining the perilous path ahead. It's a gamble, a last resort, but for John, it's the only path left. You can practically hear the dramatic dum dash dum of a movie trailer playing in the background. With the duel set, John begins his meticulous preparations. He acquires new, tailor-made tactical suits, because if you're going to die, you might as well look dapper doing it. The rustle of expensive fabric, the smooth click of new weapon parts being assembled, the subtle thunk of bullets being loaded, every detail is accounted for. He selects a formidable arsenal, each weapon chosen with precision for its specific purpose. It's a silent, almost meditative ritual, a professional at the peak of his craft preparing for his ultimate challenge. This isn't just about guns, it's about the tools of a trade, honed through years of bloodshed. He ensures his dog, the real MVP of the series, is safely cared for. Gotta keep the priorities straight, you know? A man's got to look good, be well armed, and make sure his furry friend is happy before the main event. John takes a moment to visit Karen's grave in Paris. It's a quiet, poignant scene, a rare moment of vulnerability for John, standing amidst the elegant, mournful statues of the cemetery. The gentle whoosh of the wind rustling through the leaves, the distant sounds of Parisian life, all fade into the background as he reflects on the sacrifices made. This isn't just about a contract or a title. It's deeply personal. Karen's loyalty, his quiet dignity, lives on in John's resolve. This silent vow at the grave cements his commitment, transforming the duel from a mere fight for freedom into an act of remembrance and retribution. The gravestone, stark against the gray Parisian sky, is a heavy reminder of what's at stake. You can almost hear the unsaid words, the promise of vengeance lingering in the cool air. The Marquis, being the perpetually petty individual he is, puts a colossal bounty on John's head just before the duel, hoping to stop him from even reaching the fight. So as John strolls through the picturesque streets of Paris, it becomes a deadly gauntlet. Every corner, every shadowed alleyway, every bustling cafe holds a potential threat. The click-clack of high heels, the murmur of Parisian chatter, the distant honking of cars, it all becomes part of the dangerous symphony as assassins emerge from every direction. The tension is palpable, a slow burn that quickly ignites into outright chaos. John, ever the magnet for trouble, is now effectively the world's most dangerous tourist attraction. He dodges, weaves, and dispatches the initial wave of attackers with practiced ease. But it's clear this is just the appetizer for the main course of mayhem. And then we hit the motherlode of mayhem, the Arc de Triomphe traffic circle. This sequence is absolutely breathtaking, turning one of Paris's most famous landmarks into a full-blown war zone. Cars are slamming into each other with deafening crunches of metal. Motorcycles are doing balletic jumps over exploding vehicles, and John Wick is right in the middle of it all. He's using cars as both cover and weapons, sliding across hoods, kicking open doors into unsuspecting assassins, and firing off precision shots with incredible accuracy. The sheer scale of the destruction is mind-boggling, a symphony of twisted metal and shattered glass. It's a chaotic dance of death, where every movement, every turn of the wheel could mean instant demise. The sounds of screeching tires, crashing metal, and rapid gunfire merge into a relentless soundtrack of destruction. Honestly, the insurance claims from this must be astronomical, because why fight on foot when you can fight on horseback amidst a traffic jam? John Wick, ever the innovator, somehow acquires a horse and turns into a modern-day knight, albeit one with a very large pistol. He gallops through the melee, using the horse's momentum to his advantage, delivering brutal strikes and precise shots. The clip-clop of hooves on asphalt, mingled with the screams of engines and gunshots, adds another layer of absurdity and coolness to the chaos. It's a stunning blend of classic action tropes and modern-day gun fu, proving that John Wick can make anything look good. The sheer kinetic energy of the scene is unparalleled, pushing the boundaries of what an action sequence can be. It's like a historical reenactment met a demolition derby and had a very violent baby. You just know that horse earned itself a giant carrot after this performance. Just when John seems truly overwhelmed, Kane shows up. And let's be clear, he's not there for a friendly reunion. He's been tasked by Gramont to ensure John gets to the duel, but only after fighting through a million other assassins. So in a strange twist of fate, John and Kane end up fighting side by side, a deadly, reluctant partnership. The ping of Kane's precision shots, the crack of John's punches, they work in terrifying unison. Their unspoken communication, a grim acknowledgement of their shared predicament, is powerful. It's a peculiar sight, these two old friends, one blind, the other half dead, tearing through a literal army of bad guys. The dance of their combined combat styles is a spectacle of efficiency and controlled destruction, a grim testament to their legend. It's almost like they're saying, look, we can kill each other later, but these other guys? They're just rude. The next challenge? An absolutely ludicrous number of steps leading up to Osaka, where the duel is to take place. And because the Marquis is still being extra, he's upped the bounty again, turning every single step into a deadly trap. John begins his ascent, a Herculean task made even harder by the sheer volume of assassins now gunning for him. The thump-thump of his heavy boots on stone, his ragged breaths, the incessant zing of bullets whizzing past, it's a grueling climb. He's punched, kicked, and thrown down, only to painfully pull himself back up. It's a visual metaphor for his entire journey, constantly battling against overwhelming odds. Each step is a struggle, each landing a painful reminder of his dwindling energy. You can almost feel the burning in his quads just watching him. Seriously, I have called an Uber to the top dot, and in a moment that elicited a collective gasp from the audience. John is pushed, pummeled, and then unceremoniously sent tumbling all the way back down the entire length of the staircase. The sickening thud and scrape of his body hitting stone step after stone step, the painful oof as he impacts the ground, is truly brutal. It's a devastating setback, a moment of profound defeat, but even as he lies broken at the bottom, you know he's not out. This fall isn't just physical, it's symbolic, a representation of every time the high table has knocked him down. Winston's stern, encouraging words from a distance are the only thing that seems to spark his battered spirit. You just want to reach through the screen and give him a hand, or at least a very strong painkiller. His will, however, remains unbreakable. Somehow, from a distance, Winston, ever the master strategist, observes John's struggle. His calm, precise voice cuts through the din, giving John crucial tactical advice, guiding him through the relentless onslaught. It's like a real-time strategy game, but with much higher stakes and way more blood. Winston's unwavering belief in John, even when he's literally at rock bottom, is a powerful force. He's not just a manager. He's a mentor, a friend, and a calculated risk-taker. The words are crisp, clear, a lifeline in a sea of despair and gunfire. The quiet click of Winston's watch, a reminder of the ticking clock, adds to the urgency. This sequence shows us that brains are just as important as brawn in this deadly world. It's a truly brilliant display of strategic thinking under pressure, with Winston's guidance. And more crucially, Kane's continued reluctant assistance. John begins his second, even more painful, ascent. This time, he and Kane work with a grudging synergy, battling side by side against the seemingly endless stream of bounty hunters. The thwack of a fist, the whiz of a bullet, the almost comical oof as an assassin takes a tumble down the steps. They're a force to be reckoned with. The camaraderie, even if it's silent and born of necessity, is palpable. They're both trying to survive, albeit for very different reasons, and their combined prowess is a sight to behold. It's a brutal, relentless climb, but this time, they're sharing the burden to legendary assassins against an entire city of people who clearly didn't get the memo about personal space. It's like a deadly, vertical obstacle course. Finally, utterly spent, bleeding, and bruised, John Wick claws his way over the very last step, pulling himself to the top of Skarsgård. The gasp of his labored breath, the visible tremors in his body, it's a moment of raw, human vulnerability and incredible triumph. He makes it just as the first rays of dawn break over Paris, casting a golden light on the ancient basilica. It's a beautiful, almost ethereal scene, a stark contrast to the brutal journey he's just endured. The gentle whoosh of the morning breeze, the distant chirping of birds, it's a momentary peace before the ultimate confrontation. He looks like he's aged about a decade in the last hour, but his eyes still hold that fierce, unyielding spark. He's here against all odds, ready for his final stand. Now, where's the nearest coffee shop? At the pinnacle of Skarsgård, under the watchful eyes of the High Table's overseer, the duel begins. John Wick, Gramont, and Kane take their positions, the tension thick enough to cut with a knife. The overseer, a stern, imposing figure, outlines the ancient, rigid rules, pistols, 10 paces, turn and fire. It's a throwback to classic duels, but with a modern, John Wickian twist. Gramont, predictably, looks smug, convinced he's already won. John, stoic as ever, simply nods, his gaze unwavering. Kane, ever the reluctant participant, stands ready, his blind eyes fixed on an unseen target. The click-clack of the flintlock pistols being loaded, the hush of the crowd, every sound is amplified in the crisp morning air. This isn't just a fight. It's a ceremonial execution, or so Gramont hopes. It's the ultimate high-stakes poker game, but with bullets instead of chips. Being the morally flexible individual he is, Gramont tries to cheat, substituting a subordinate for his first shot. He's clearly not a fan of fair play, which honestly isn't surprising. But Kane, sharp as a tack despite being blind, isn't fooled for a second. With a swift bang of his pistol, he dispatches Gramont's imposter before he can even fire. The quickness of the shot, the sudden collapse of the stand-in, it's a shocking twist, a moment of pure, unadulterated badassery from Kane. It reestablishes his formidable skill and his subtle, almost reluctant alignment with John's cause. Gramont's sputtering rage at being outmaneuvered is almost comical. The High Table overseer, stoic throughout, acknowledges Kane's move, upholding the integrity of the duel, even if it wasn't the play Gramont intended. No cheating in John Wick's world, buddy. The duel continues, round by agonizing round. John takes a shot to the shoulder from Kane, a grim testament to Kane's precision, even when holding back. The sickening thud of the bullet impact, the wince on John's face, tells you it's no fake-out. He stumbles, falling to one knee, but his eyes never leave Kane. It's a dance of calculated pain, a grim performance where each bullet fired pushes them closer to their ultimate fates. The tension builds with every turn, every raised pistol, every strained breath. You can practically hear the collective held breath of everyone watching, anticipating the next move. This isn't just about winning. It's about enduring, about proving his worth, even when bleeding out. John Wick, folks, still taking bullets like it's a Tuesday. Kane, in turn, unleashes a perfectly aimed shot at Gramont, wounding him and proving that even a blind assassin can hit a target better than most sighted ones. The oof of Gramont taking a hit, his arrogant facade momentarily cracking, is deeply satisfying. Kane's shots are deliberate, strategic, aimed to fulfill his end of the bargain without outright killing Gramont. At least not yet. The grim determination on Kane's face, the subtle twitch of his fingers, reveals the immense pressure he's under. Every shot is a tightrope walk between obedience to the high table and a desperate hope for his daughter's safety. The whiz of the bullet, followed by Gramont's grunt of pain, signals that the tide is slowly turning in John's favor, or at least away from Gramont's full control. He's definitely not enjoying this part of his day. It all comes down to the final shot. John, with his final ounce of strength, takes aim and fires. The bang echoes, and for a terrifying second, it looks like he misses, his shot seemingly going wide. He then collapses, utterly spent, leaving Gramont to believe he's won. Gramont, ever the egomaniac, gloats, stepping forward to deliver the killing blow himself, clearly wanting to savor the moment. The silence after John's shot, the sudden thud of his collapse, fills the air with dread and a chilling sense of false victory. It's a masterful piece of misdirection, a gamble that relies on Gramont's hubris. The slow, deliberate steps of Gramont, the smirk on his face, are infuriating to watch. You just know this isn't over, not by a long shot. This guy really thinks he's smarter than the Baba Yaga. Bless his heart. But wait, remember that miss by John? Turns out it was a perfectly calculated shot, a brilliant tactical maneuver. John had fired not at Gramont, but at the ground between them, leaving his final bullet available. And who gets to deliver that glorious final bullet? None other than Winston, who calmly picks up a pistol and, with a chilling bang, sends Gramont to meet his maker. It's poetic justice, a stunning reversal of fortune, and Winston's ultimate revenge for Karen. The sound of that final shot, clean and decisive, is incredibly satisfying, a perfect culmination of their intricate plan. Gramont's wide-eyed surprise, the sudden collapse of his form, is a truly glorious sight. Winston's face, etched with a grim satisfaction, says it all. The silence that follows is not of dread, but of ultimate, hard-won victory. Mic drop, literally and figuratively. With Gramont dispatched and his freedom finally, unequivocally earned, John Wick finds a moment of peace. He sits on the steps, gazing at the sunrise over Paris, a serene, almost gentle expression on his face. The soft whoosh of the morning breeze, the golden light of the new day, surrounds him. His journey is over. He closes his eyes, a faint smile playing on his lips, finding the ultimate peace he's fought so desperately for. It's a bittersweet, profoundly moving moment, a quiet farewell to a legend. The weight of the world, the endless cycle of violence, seems to lift from his shoulders. The silence is profound, a stark contrast to the cacophony of his life. For a man who never asked for any of this, he finally got what he deserved: rest. He truly earned that nap. Sometime later, Winston, having successfully regained his status and the New York Continental, stands with the Bowery King before John Wick's grave. It's a quiet, reflective scene filled with unspoken respect and shared memories. Winston ensures that John's loyal dog, the constant companion and symbol of his humanity, is well cared for, fulfilling John's last wishes. The gentle woof of the dog, a soft and comforting sound, cuts through the solemnity. They reflect on John's immense impact, his legend now etched permanently into the annals of their shadowy world. The serene beauty of the graveyard, the rustling of leaves, serves as a poignant backdrop to their contemplation. John may be gone, but his legacy and the friendships forged in fire live on, shaping the future of their world. A true good boy gets his happily ever after, at least, but because it's John Wick and we can't end on to common note, the post-credits scene gives us a little taste of unfinished business. Akira, true to her vow, approaches Kane. The air is thick with tension, her face a mask of cold determination, Kane's blind gaze unervingly aware. The gentle whoosh of her approach, the subtle click of her hand on her weapon, signal that her quest for vengeance for her father is far from over. It's a chilling reminder that even in victory, new battles are always on the horizon in this world. This ending leaves us with a thoughtful pause, reminding us that every choice, every action echoes through the lives of those around us. John's fight may be over, but the ripples of his epic journey continue to spread, reminding us of the profound impact one individual can have, and how even in the darkest of tales, there's always a glimmer of hope for peace, even if it's just in the quiet moments between the bangs. And with that, our recap of John Wick Chapter 4 comes to a close. What a ride!